Would you all be seated, please? Downsize. 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 Or to say it in the Devonshire dialect, downsize. Get rid of stuff. As many of you know, a few months ago, Ruth and I moved out of our lovely home, where we'd been for almost a quarter of a century, and into a retirement apartment, where it turns out we're very happy. But it wasn't easy. We had so much stuff to get rid of, to give away, to take to Goodwill, just to dispose of. And we all have to do that sooner or later. You will, as we did. Either you do it for yourself or someone will do it for you. We'll downsize your stuff. Getting rid of things is perhaps the hardest part of moving. Things we've loved and cherished and enjoyed for years and years. In my case, it was all my books. And in Ruth's case, it was a lot of her artwork. But we all have things that we treasure, that we've lived with for a long time, and it's no fun getting rid of them. Especially if, as we did, do it in the middle of the summer, when it's hot, hot, hot. And then also how we accumulate things. Stuff that, for the most part, no one else wants. People try to give away things to people who don't really want them, especially if they're younger than we are, from another generation. The young don't want the stuff of the old. We read in a leaflet about moving about a young man whose aunt was very wealthy, had a big house full of what we consider treasures, going back 2 or 3 generations, 3 stories, and she asked him, as one of her few relatives, to come over to the house and look at all her things, all her treasures, and take anything he wanted. He had the run of this house, a mini mansion, and he went through the upstairs, he went down the downstairs, he went into the basement and looked at all the things that had been accumulated in that house. Probably worth a lot of money to some people, but he left with only one thing, the toilet plunger. That's the only thing he found out to be of use to him. Remember, we come into this world with nothing and we go out of it the same way. All our stuff will end up either being unwanted or wanted by someone that surprises us. But then, goodwill, here I come. We come into this world with nothing and we go out of it the same way. All our stuff ends up somewhere else. But that's not my main message today. I've never heard a sermon that was just about moving. Maybe this is the first one. But no, I want to focus on other stuff that we all need to downsize on all the time. Certainly not when we just physically move. Think of what a better world this would be, and what a better society this would be, if we could all downsize all the negative things, internal things, spiritual things within us, such as pride, a desire for power, greed, anger, envy, prejudice, impatience, resentment, jealousy. If we could only downsize those in this world. And of course, it starts with us as individuals. We are going to be talking in this coming Advent season about the coming of Christ and about our making room in the manger for the baby to be born. A marvelous metaphor for what I'm talking about now. Making room for the Christ to be born. If you or I, in our insight and thinking and meditation, find that we are in possession of one of these things, anger, envy, jealousy, impatience, whatever it might be that's within us, a property, a bit of stuff within us, then we need to consider getting rid of this possession, or at least downsizing it. Examining how through thought and prayer we can downsize and lessen the hold this thing might have on us. It might be jealousy, it might be resentment, it might be anger, it might be a memory of something that just won't go away. It could be so many things. Greed, impatience, a desire for more stuff. We need to think about this and see how we ourselves can become mangers where we have emptied ourselves of a lot of these things and made way for the Christ child. Remember, the inn was full, just like this aunt that I mentioned. Her house was full of stuff. We ourselves could be full of things that are not what we really want to have within us, spiritually, mentally, psychologically. And the thing to do is to work on one of them, to recognize it, identify it, and then pray about it. My dear old friend, long past, Bishop Benitez, he once told us that we can pray things into ourselves, and we can pray things out of ourselves. Prayer can certainly do this for us. I pray that we can follow the good bishop's advice and do our bit to lessen the load of negative quality things that we carry around, the stuff within us that we don't need and that no one needs, and that we might find troubles our souls. Let's work on this then. Make room in the manger of our hearts, in the manger of our souls. Identify perhaps one thing, one bit of stuff that we'd like to get rid of, take to goodwill by prayer, by praying and meditation and thinking. And that way we can prepare ourselves also to face the Christ the King that we celebrate today, and the kingdom of heaven. Amen.
Amen.